think of her as America's wine mom because it seems like she's 3 deep by noon, and she's got the 3 phases of wine mom. She's got happy drunk. Oh my God, this cereal's got a rabbit on it. It's so great. Cackling, cackling, cackling. Then there is drunk at work, where you're trying to make sense, but you don't. Space is around us all and unites us all and inspires us all. And then there's I'm being stern so you don't realize how plastered I am, and I'm making a point. That little girl was me. Now I'm going to go upstairs and don't knock on the door because I'm going to pass out.
That's Joe Rogan and right-wing political commentator Michael Malice absolutely roasting the incoherent babble of Kamala Harris that the media has been trying to memory hole for weeks. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and despite what political hacks in the media are trying to tell you, the hype surrounding Kamala Harris is significantly overblown, particularly with young people who have next to no idea who she is. Which is why we have to go back to 2020 to get a more honest picture of what Americans and the media actually think about their beloved new Democratic candidate.
Everybody forever was like, Kamala Harris is the worst vice president. She's the least popular vice president of all time. And then in a moment in time, all of a sudden she's our solution. She's our hero. Everybody's with her. All these social media posts about her. Try Googling a negative story on her. You won't find one.
So,
ta-da!
Okay, you've got me started, Officer Harris. So, they've been doing this live for years. So, in 2019, our pal Tulsi absolutely nuked her in that second debate. And if you looked at charts at the time, she's kind of... Officer Harris is like doing okay. First debate, she comes out, Joe Biden, you're a racist. The Democrats were looking for an alternative to Bernie Sanders that wasn't Biden. She starts going up in the polls, right? Second debate comes out, Tulsi, being a good Hawaiian, knows how to roast the pig, just completely slams her. Not only that, she has no counterpunch. She goes on Anderson Cooper and she's like, well, I'm a top tier candidate, so of course people are going to take shots at me. That's her answer. She immediately starts going down in the polls. It's that day. You can see it on the chart I have on my Twitter. All the articles at the time that did an autopsy on Kamala Harris's failed campaign didn't mention Tulsi once.
Yeah.
It was BBC, LA Times, Reuters, New Yorker. A guy from the Washington Post just did a piece looking back on her campaign, didn't mention Tulsi either.
Wild?
They completely pretend it didn't happen.
That's absolutely correct and underscores once again the blatant hypocrisy of the left. Because Tulsi was essentially everything they said they wanted. She was a strong woman of color who served in Congress for 8 years and isn't for war. However, because she doesn't seem to be easily bought and paid for and willing to flip on every single one of those positions when need be, they smeared her as a Russian asset and sympathetic to the far right.
Here's my 4D chess.
Okay. 4D chess.
4D chess.
With Michael Malice.
Biden is like, all right, we put her up. We know she's going to lose. She can't go back she's not going to be governor of California. She's not going to be senator. Her career's done. And that was his kind of legacy, like, getting rid of her once and for all. Because otherwise she's going to be the nominee or a very strong case for it in 2028.
Right, but don't you think that if she runs in 2024, that's very likely, there's a possibility, like more than 50-50, that she wins?
I don't think it's more than 50-50.
Oh, interesting. I do.
Once she starts opening her mouth, and here's the thing I predict, she's notoriously difficult to work for. The New York Times, the New York Post covered this at the time. Wait until people who are trying to get her into the White House start leaking to the press about what a nightmare she is to work with. That is going to undermine a lot of stuff for her too. She's not like Hillary. Linda Bloodworth went to jail for Hillary. People ride or die with her. Kamala's a different story.
Well, she had a really high turnover of her staff, right?
90%.
That's great. What's normal?
I don't know, but it's not 90 in like a year. It's not just that they left, it's that they left and went to the press and be like, I can't, she doesn't do her homework, and then she yells at me for not being prepared. Like, they leaked. People leave these offices all the time, but they don't leak.
But it's just so wild that the media is all behind her now.
Why is it wild?
Because it's interesting. It's just wild to see. It's
the 180?
Yeah.
The shamelessness?
It's wild to see.
Now, Malice is absolutely correct here. This is a very real concern for Democrats and something a lot of the media has been working to hide. Approximately 92% of her staffers left in the first 3 years of her being VP due to her laziness and anger. Some of them even said she bullied them so bad it left them in tears. But don't take my word for it, even MSNBC host Simone Sanders, who used to work for Kamala Harris, doesn't seem to have too many positive things to say about her old boss.
My experience had been, it was new for me when I worked for her because I had never worked for a high-profile woman before. I had only ever worked for men. And there was one day at work where I was like, ma'am, you might be the last woman I work for, because this is a
there's a story there.
It's a lot. This a lot that we got to deal with over in here.
Yeah, Mika, the grilling, the former staff, we like to refer to it as putting someone on the witness stand. She knows how to do that quite well from her previous life as a prosecutor. Before we talk about the vice president, I've also had the privilege to work for the president. I worked on his last campaign.
That doesn't sound too good to me. And combine that with the fact that she's starting to slip back into her incoherent babbling when she's off script, and I'd say the honeymoon phase might be over for Democrats. But let me know what you think. Is Kamala Harris a useless tool propped up to get her out of the way in 2028? To make way for somebody like Michelle Obama or Gavin Newsom? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!